And now, transmitting on an assigned frequency of 107.9 megacycles from the GJRB network in beautiful downtown Clinton, Iowa. It's the Gary Russen program on Talk FM 108. And now your host, Gary John Russen.
Yeah, I'm here. Welcome aboard. Yeah, we at. Welcome aboard. Hello, everyone. Hello, everywhere across America. Welcome to the Gary Russen program, Freestyle Friday edition. Yeah. Great afternoon. Hope you stay with me. Welcome aboard the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online from the GJRB Spreaker Studios just above Lions Shopping District in downtown. Well, not really, we're downtown. We are kind of like just on the north end of Clinton. We have a north end called Lions. At one time, this was a separate town from Clinton. But I'll tell you about that later on. Hello, everyone. Hello, everywhere across America. And welcome to the Gary Russen program just above the Lions Shopping District in Clinton, Iowa. Welcome to the Gary Russen program and the Gary Russen program Freestyle Friday edition. And we got Black Dragons Radio in the opening gate of today's program here on GJRB Online. How you doing, BJ? Thanks for joining me. Yeah, I came here like I said I would this afternoon. Yeah. And welcome to it. Got a big announcement to make this afternoon. I don't think I really want to wait. I want to do it right now. I've been playing around. Now, I joined up with this new podcast platform back in August. And I really didn't look at it that closely. But yesterday I was going through it, and that I discovered, and through the help of my good friend Black Dragons Radio, BJ, I am going to be going on to another platform. Now, I'm not leaving Spreaker completely. But this new platform is absolutely fabulous. I want to thank BJ for turning me on to these guys. They are called Podbean. Podbean. They are a new podcast platform, and they are absolutely fabulous. They give you an unlimited amount of broadcast time. You can choose from 60 to about 120 minutes of broadcast time, non-stop, for nothing, folks. For nothing. Absolutely fabulous. Now, this afternoon, I'm going to do 2 hours here on Spreaker. But this afternoon, I am going to make a big switch. Now, I'm not going to leave Spreaker, like I said earlier. I got a lot of great people on here. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about seeing whether or not this will work. I don't know. I don't know if you've ever tried this, BJ. Have you tried doing a simulcast live on both Podbeam and Spreaker to see if it would work? Because I'm going to try that today. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm thinking, wouldn't that be just awesome to be able to podcast live, simulcast on both platforms? No, never have done that, anything like that. Well, I think I'd like to try to see if it'll work. I'm not saying it's going to, but I'm going to try it. I already set a schedule. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, BJ, yesterday I discovered that if you are not on the premium plan, you can only schedule one show at a time. But I'm wondering, if I do 120 minutes, is there a chance I could turn around and go back on live after I'm done with the 120 minutes? Let's say I do 2 hours, okay? And then after I'm done with that 2 hours and it stops, any good chance that I could reschedule to go back on the air for another hour? That's what I'm kind of wondering about that. The reason I said that is because now if I were to do that, I think I would go, because I could see where you have a choice of how long you can be on. I think it's like I think there's like 50, 55 minutes. I think something like that. 50. I would probably go 55 minutes in the second hour rather than the last hour because I don't know how long it would take for me to, and whether or not I could go back on right away. I'm thinking of that because what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to be on the air here tomorrow. But I'm going to be on the air again tomorrow. I'm doing I'm going to do another Gary Russen program Saturday Extra tomorrow. Now I'm going to try to see if I can do all 3 hours simulcast. Okay, now he's saying something to me. Is what? Okay, let's see. As we were saying here, let me move my microphone so I can read. Is what I've done to find out once I get my own stuff set up on Podbean. I'll have a lot to learn, but glad we have options out there. Absolutely. I agree with you there. Now, again, we're talking about another podcast platform on a podcast platform. So, I mean, this is a competing platform. All right. So, I'm not going to, again, abandon Spreaker because I've been on Spreaker since 2012. At that time, when I started Spreaker, it was the free plan at that time when I started Spreaker. This was in 2012. Matter of fact, at the end of this month, I'll be celebrating an anniversary with Spreaker. And I'm thinking it's like, I'm not saying 2012. Okay, we're headed into 2020. So I'm going to say about maybe 8 or 9 years almost. I think 8 years on Spreaker. I've been on Spreaker for 8 years. So I'm thinking that and at that time, 8 years ago when I started at the down below the hill here, Spreaker free plan was 30 minutes. Yeah, you had 30 minutes free at that time. You had a half an hour free. Okay, this was in 2012. Then about 2013, because I had just moved over. It had been 2013, in around there. After I had moved up here into this apartment complex, after we moved over here, I was Spreaker decided in infinite wisdom by surprise one day when I was cut off after 15 minutes on the air that Spreaker had cut the half hour down to 15 minutes. Okay, and I was not very happy because I really liked that half hour. I depended on it. And they threw me this curve, and it was like, what? 15 minutes? And then not only that, back then it was the web-based console, which okay, let's go to the chat room for a minute. What's he saying? Oh, yeah, I was staying on Spreaker. I never said I was leaving. I only said that I was going to Podbean, too, because I have their setup, plus it will help grow my radio audience. I agree with you on that. I wish we would have stayed with what they had, Gary. And 15 minutes is just not enough time for my radio station, and I prefer 2 hours of radio broadcasting, and I agree with you on that one. And like I said earlier, I am thrilled to go over to Podbean, and like I said before, I've got some great friends on here that I've been connected with for some time. Ed Delgado, the Caramel Conservative, Mike Myers, Radio Hope Network, Bob Huber, the Huber Experience. I'm still gonna be on here for those guys because they're absolutely great people. I know that the Spreaker Studio, which decided they were Spreaker Studio. I like the Studio console. I like their console too, by the way. Absolutely cool console they got. But are they going to, BJ, are they going to really make a big freaking hairy deal if I continue playing what I'm playing on my show? Because sometimes I sneak in a popular one because I really don't see where I'm doing anything to harm anybody, because it's not any different than, let's say, sharing a video of a song on Facebook. Because when you share a video on Facebook, you're doing almost the same thing. The only difference I'm doing is I'm playing the song. I have no idea. Okay? Because I know that they have royalty-free songs on there, which I could probably use as emerging artist, because I did that on the other Spreaker console. Although the songs on that old web-based console were like really bad. Sorry, they were bad. There were a couple good jazz ones on there I did like, but man, some of those songs are terrible. Just, I used some of them for bumpers, but oh man, they were terrible. But anyway, this is going to be cool, and I gotta say, it's going to be absolutely fabulous. Yes, royalty-free songs. I happen to like what Podbean has, because that does help. I have no idea for radio shows. I have big ideas for radio shows. Okay, big idea. Okay, good deal. Now they say, and I think they're kind of like with Spreaker, because basically I have a console outside I have a regular console that I'm bringing through the microphone, and I use that quite a bit. So I'm okay. So I'm thinking maybe perhaps I'll be able to plug my songs through the computer, through my mixer system, because I do that anyway. But I will find out as I go along. So it's called Trial and Error, folks. Thanks, BJ, for joining me. My radio station, Black Dragons Radio, will be going through some new transitions on Podbean. Absolutely. And I think a lot of it's going to be more toward the new year, because I think new year, and like I said before, if the simulcast idea works, great. But if it doesn't, I'm going to kind of sift my shows around and pick some of the better shows to go to Podbean, and what shows I'm going to keep on Spreaker. Yeah, new year, fresh start, and be able to do that. And like I said before, I don't even know. I might or might not do the Spreaker 3-hour plan. I'm going to check the prices of the premium on Podbean to see. I'm going to compare them to what Spreaker has in premium prices. If the premium prices are pretty darn reasonable, I might go to Podbean premium instead of Spreaker. So it just depends on what's the best price and what I want to go for, if I want to go for a premium plan. Because it's just to see if I have money well spent. That was the whole idea there. Anyhow, glad we could have it. Glad we got you on board there, BJ. So why don't we chat a little bit here and have a little bit of fun. Start off with some news. And have you been following the impeachment inquiry lately, if you want to call it that? I'm getting sick of hearing it already. I am. It's just getting pathetic. I don't understand it, quite frankly. And I remember, this takes me back to when President Nixon, I have this morning. And it's getting old now. It's getting nowhere at all. I agree with you on that. And that's government for you. It's that simple. I'm just going to say it straight out. It's government for you. That's the way they are. That's the way it's going to be. They're going to make it slow on purpose. It's a mental game brought to you by the United States government because, they like to play mental games on their citizens, and they're good at it. Excuse me that, because this is tablet. So I might have to end up, I'm going to just say if this tablet dies, it dies. I'm just going to use the computer today. I have an old tablet. It's called a Nextbooks. I bought it at Walmart. And it has a tendency that when it's on for a while, it'll work, but it'll just suddenly go out. And if I don't have it charged up completely, forget it. I don't use it. Technically, that's just it. So I'm going to go with everything entirely on the computer today. And make sure that before the day I go on the air, I'm going to make sure my tablet's charged completely. Because if I don't, yeah, it will die, folks. And it ain't pretty when it dies. So I'm going to make sure that the tablet is up full and everything. But today I'm just not going to use the tablet that much because of the fact that it makes an ugly noise when I got to shorten the cord. I don't know where it's coming from, but it keeps on making that noise, so I pulled it. It's getting very old. Anyway, it's an old Nextbooks tablet, and it's had its day, but it's kind of hanging in there. Just that simple. Alrighty, let's go into the news anyway, and we'll talk a little bit about it. But some of the news I want to talk about this afternoon, we're going to talk about was the horrid, terrible thing at the Saugus High School in the LA suburbs this past week. Horrible shooting. 6 people, 6 injured. And there's some detail. I guess a press conference was held today. And what you're going to hear right now is that press conference. I'm going to play a little piece of it for you. Interesting press conference talking about this whole deal with that shooting that happened in their Los Angeles suburb, Saugus. And this is the it's a long press conference. It runs 28 minutes 22 seconds. So I'm going to give you a snippet of what they were saying about yesterday's shooting. And they're just starting up here. Wait a minute, I'm going to go and turn this over to Stereo Mix. They should be talking here pretty soon. This is the Saugus High School press conference over the yesterday's shooting.
All right, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. This press conference is to provide an update regarding the Saugus High School shooting that occurred yesterday. Up first is going to be Alex Villanueva, Sheriff of Los Angeles County.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to provide you an update of the tragic events from yesterday. And first and foremost, I want to extend my condolences to the families and the victims all involved, and our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone. We've reached out to the families of the 6 victims, and 5 of them do not want to release information to date. They're still trying to reach far-flung relatives, so we're holding off on that. However, the family of one of the deceased has provided that information, and we're sad to report that Gracie Mule Berger, a female, 15 years of age, was the one who succumbed yesterday at 9:23 in the morning from her injuries. And her parents, Cynthia and Brian, obviously devastated, and we're with them. And it's a tough day here in Santa Cruz. So we have, as we have more information on the other victims, we can release that. But to date, we're going to respect their privacy. We're not going to go there. The suspect condition still remains critical and hasn't changed, and for that we'll hold off. It's This is a tough day when you think about it. I'm a father, I'm a grandfather. My grandchildren are the same age of the ones who were victim of this senseless act of violence. It still remains a mystery why. So I just want to encourage everyone, grab your kid, hold them a little tighter, and make sure they do the right things when they're in school. And if, God forbid, they haven't, in this type of circumstances, follow the directions. Run. If you can't run, hide. If you can't hide, then you do something. You fight back. And the kids in the school yesterday did all of the above. They did as they were trained. We had an active shooter drilled just in the last few weeks at the school, and we had evidence that the kids ran as they were told to run. Kids barricaded themselves. They sheltered in place. They covered the windows, propped the doors shut, and they did exactly as they were trained, and that definitely assisted. And then when the time came to provide aid to those who were injured, they took them in and they provided first aid while they were waiting for our first responders. So kudos to all of them for a job well done, and hopefully that's a job we never have to do again. Now I want to bring Captain Ken Wergener to provide us update on the status of the investigation, and we also have some updates from our special agent from the ATF, Special Agent Canino. Let's start with Captain Wergener.
Okay, and it goes on and on and on and on and on, so I'm not going to play the whole thing, but basically that is what it is. For details, you can watch the network. This is from Fox News, so if you follow Fox News on Facebook, you will get the information that you want from that, so I'm not going to play that whole story because I have some more things to do, but that just tells you exactly what's going on there. That is sad. Sure isn't, Gary. I said schools are not safe, not even anymore for kids. It used to be a safe place, and BJ said, yeah, sure it is. Was it this way when I used to go to school? A much more dangerous world these days, and absolutely fabulous. I mean, it's horrible. I wish that I don't know who this guy is, or I don't know the details. I didn't really listen to the whole press conference before I went on the air, but you gotta wonder about this guy who did this, because you have to wonder, what they're thinking when they go in and do this. The one child didn't survive, so this fella already has a murder charge rap on his back. He already is going to be charged with a murder in this shooting. So you're going to have to wonder here what's going on in the minds of these people that do these things. And again, I posted at the beginning of the show on my opening comments, on my opening description, that I think that the big payoff comes from George Soros. I think a lot of these shootings at these schools are sometimes set up. That's what I believe. We're at the end times, Gary, when things are getting even more worse. Yeah, absolutely. I just believe this could actually be a setup. Something tells me that this is a setup. I don't know why I think that, but I do. But by George Soros, this is the whole plan. With gun control. And, I absolutely believe that. It has to be something going on here when you got there. Now, there hasn't been any shootings for a while. It's been kind of where we're just getting back to that again. And it's really sad when you have this kind of situation going on. And the kids are getting unnecessarily hurt, and because you got a clown with a gun, it's a sad situation. It really is, and we'll talk about that this afternoon. Also, let's see what we got here. Let's flip over and do some weather here. Weather in the newsletter. Yeah. And the nor'easter is brewing. Yeah, nor'easter churning in the East Coast this weekend. High winds, heavy surf, and drenching rain is going to pound a part of the southern Atlantic coast this weekend, and it'll impact nor'easter and expanding into the coastal nor'easter center later today and this weekend, early next week, with gale force winds. And I have that mentioned in our weather on the 5s, so we're just going to kind of lead into that. Because that was what it was about anyways. Along the gale watches are now in effect along the coastline of North Carolina to New Jersey. Storm watches are in place along North Carolina's coast, which has now recently been battered by Hurricane Dorian. And then it's spreading rain eastward across the deep south. Into Friday. These storms will be strengthening along the Carolina coast while pivoting into the northeastward on Saturday and Sunday and Monday. The difference in pressure between our strengthening the storms is a high pressure over the interior northeast. It's going to create a strong winds in northeast to the north. And the second storm is going to ride quickly on the nor'easter hills, and it'll forecast to take aim further north and focused on the northeast next week. So we'll keep an eye on this storm. This doesn't look like it's going to be a nor'easter, which those are pretty nasty for people living up in the north there. I mean, that nor'easters are pretty bad. I've never really experienced one of those, but I've heard about them. You ever hear the song "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald," a big hit record for Gordon Lightfoot? That was about a nor'easter that sunk the Edmund Fitzgerald. Absolutely incredible song. And I've always wondered why how you have some of these songs that had great lyrics that told a story, and one of them was El Paso. The other one was a song that was done by what's that guy's name? Anyway, it was called Hazard. Absolutely fabulous song. And those should have been movies. The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, why they never made a movie out of that? Would have been a blockbuster. I mean, it would have been even better. It would have been just as good as the Titanic. It really would have. Because it was absolutely it was an incredible song about a terrible tragedy that happened in the nor'easter that sunk the Edmund Fitzgerald. So you have to wonder about that. There's songs that were told great stories, but they never made movies out of them. The only one I would think that they did make a movie out of was the Ode to Billy Joe, which was really, I don't think it was a true story, but it was a great song. But absolutely incredible. We got Gary J. Russen with you on GJRB Online here on Spreaker, and this is the Gary Russen program. Tomorrow we're going to do the Saturday Extra, and we're going to try and do something a little different tomorrow, and we're going to simulcast this show. We're going to try to do this and Podbean at the same time, see what happens. So it's going to be a big experiment tomorrow. I hope it works. Don't know if it is, but you never know. It just might work. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I have ways to improvise, so to speak. So, you know how that goes. Anyway, you're listening to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online on Spreaker across America. And this is the Gary Russen program. And I thank you so much for tuning in, as I'm always glad to bring you the best in Internet talk radio here on Spreaker, here on GJRB Online. And we're going to take a break. When we return, I've got some more interesting news stories to talk about. Some really interesting stories that we're going to grab. I knew you're going to want to check them out. Talk more about this nor'easter. And let's see. We also have a story of that I think is interesting. A British singer refuses to sing at the Thanksgiving football game unless donations or pledges are made by the Salvation Army to the LGBT community. What do you think of that one? I'm telling you, these singers in their campaigns, I'm telling you what. We'll be talking about that and a whole lot more, so stay with me. You're listening to the Gary Russen program right here on...
It's like an auto show every day at builditauto.com. All applications accepted, not all will be approved.
News at the bottom and top of every hour from the KROS Information Center. Keeping you informed is important to us. Talk FM 108. The good, bad, and the ugly. Love this song. And how appropriate is it? Let me tell you. Yeah, we are in the world of the good, the bad, and the ugly. You better believe it. No joke. Hey, welcome back to the Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online, the Friday Freestyle Friday edition. Glad you could be with us. Sure isn't Gary is this way when I was used to it. Okay. Hey, it looks like he's deleting some stuff there. Okay, must be taking some stuff off. I am in the final part of this segment here, and I've got a lot of stuff I want to talk about, so we're going to continue doing our show here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker across America, the Gary Russen program, here on GJRB, here on Spreaker, and we're going to be in the last hour of our show today. We're going to be going on Podbean. And they're absolutely fab. Now, the last hour of the show is going to completely be national. I'm not going to do my local 9-foot signal. This is going to be national. And I'm going to be just doing the last hour completely on Podbean. Although I'm going to simulcast, I'm going to attempt to simulcast and stay on with Spreaker and be on both, just to see if it'll work. Which I somehow believe it might. And I'm going to check it out. And then tomorrow at 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time, I'm going to go on, and if it works, 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time, why do I keep saying that? Standard Time. Central Standard Time, we're going to be on the air again tomorrow. Central Standard Time, 3 p.m., 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. We're going to be on Podbean. But I'm going to simulcast on Spreaker. And we're going to see how this is all going to work. Okay? Now, on Spreaker, there might be missing words as I flip over in the 45 minutes that are up. Because I'm not going to do too much with Spreaker. I'm just going to let the 45 minutes go and keep flipping. At the same time, I'm on just to see how it's worked, because I want to see, now if I'm not getting any audience on Spreaker, I want to let people know, and I hope that maybe perhaps Black Dragon, BJ, if you are still there, inform, I'll probably post it, because I know you can post Podbean stuff on the Facebook, right? So I'm going to do that. If it doesn't work the way I planned it this afternoon, I want to have an alternative. So let's, and I'll do it too. I'll send a message over to Caramel Conservative, Ed Delgado, that I'm going to be on Podbean and to check it out. As a matter of fact, you know what you ought to do? And I'll do it too. Try to see if we can get Ed Delgado on Podbean. I think we see if we get Caramel on Podbean. I'm not sure if he'll do it, but it's worth a shot. I know he's got a 3-hour plan anyway. I think he does. I think he's on the broadcaster. I'm not sure, because I know he does 2 hours on anyway on Tuesday nights. But I'm thinking maybe perhaps we could get him over to Podbean. That'd be absolutely fabulous. It's worth a shot. See if we can get some of our people from Spreaker over to Podbean. I think that'd be cool. Anyway, Mike Myers, he's got the broadcaster. But anyway, like I said before, either way, I'm going to stick with the 3-hour plan on Spreaker, but I'm going to compare prices between Podbean and the Spreaker Premium and see what is the best price by far to do this. If I were to choose a premium, and then check to see, because I don't know if you've ever noticed this, BJ, but I don't know about Podbean or that, but a lot of these, I guess, they don't have phone numbers. They don't have a switchboard. You can't call Spreaker. And I know that for a fact. I don't think you can even call Podbean. I haven't really checked. But, just to, make sure that we have whether they have a customer service, if, I know they have a tech supporter, which I think pretty much is the same thing, isn't it? Don't see nothing like that right here. You're right. I think it basically, most of those podcasts have pretty much a tech supporter, which you talk to, which I think is on duty all the time, and they go by text. So if you have an issue with, let's say, their program, and there's some problems, you can consult them. I'm pretty sure about it. I mean, you almost have to. I'll see for Podbean is support center. No number, though. Oh, yeah. Well, I think they're all like that. I don't think there's really any way around it. But I think what I'll try to do is, and I do like that templates they got. Now, does that mean you could start a website through that? Because I was looking at that last night, and I noticed that they have some kind of template, and you can create a web page. Is that right? Is that how that goes? It's absolutely fabulous. This is the neatest program I think that I've ever seen for a podcast platform. Absolutely incredible. And, I'll tell you what. I'm going to stick with Spreaker, but if for any reason Spreaker were like quit, I would probably just move over to Podbean permanently. That's why I'm going to Podbean, he says. BJ are saying this. He says, that's why I'm going to Podbean. Templates will be creative with my radio station. And he said, that's the main reason I like their website. Yeah, I agree. I do like the templates. I chose one of them. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the one that had kind of a nice little colorful picture. I don't know. It shows the variety of my station. I chose one of them, free templates. It looks pretty good. I haven't really played around with it yet, but I've still got some things to do with it. You're right. And it takes a while to really learn that. And I'm going to probably be doing that, quite a bit of that. And, see the Gary Russen. Oh, by the way, GJRB Online is still the name of my station over there. I changed that yesterday, too. GJRB Online is over on Podbean. So we're going to be doing some stuff with that. In the last hour of our program here on GJRB Online, we're going to go to Podbean. So that's going to be pretty cool. I'm really going to check this out. It's going to be wild. And it's going to be cool. I'm going to really enjoy doing this. Like I said before, I love doing the breaks here like I do. I really enjoy that. But I'll tell you what, I got to tell you something. Every once in a while, just doing Podbean, just doing national show, aside from my FM, which I'll still do the FM with Podbean, but I'm going to it will probably be the breaks I won't be doing local breaks like I do here. Because I'll have that full 2 hours plus one if I can get the other one going. He said, my radio station will always be the Black Dragons, never change the name. Yeah. Because originally it was like whatever I chose there, they called it. So I decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and change the name, right? And I thought that was a good idea. Alrighty, I hope you're enjoying the program. Anyway, I know that I'm talking too much about Podbean, and a lot of people are saying, what the heck is a Podbean? But it's cool. It really is. And if you are a podcaster and you want extra time other than the time given to you allotted by Spreaker without paying the somewhat outrageous prices that Spreaker has you pay for broadcasting, I'm going to probably promote that quite a bit. Although, like I said before, I still stand behind Spreaker, and I'll still advertise them. But I'll probably be making commercials for Podbean as well. Equal time, and a fair amount of commercials that would play in alternate hours. So, that's how that's going to go. And I am getting ready to take another program break here and flip over. So I'll be doing that here in just a couple of minutes. I want to go in and get ready to do the next part. So I'll be going into part 2 with 45, maybe 50 minutes of nonstop talk and music and fun. We're going to do this, and we're going to continue talking at you. About quarter past the hour of 4 o'clock, we'll do a Weather on the Fives. We'll be doing that, Weather on the Fives, Weather Nation. Talk about what's going on. Talk about this nor'easter, which is going to pound the coastal areas. And that's going to be something. We're getting outrageous weather. And again, this goes to that left-wing agenda, which says that, this weather we're having is climate change. And I have to laugh at that every time I hear that, because they promote that thing so heavily, and it says a lot of bunk and bull, because as a Christian, it says in the Bible that there will be adverse weather conditions in the end times. And people don't realize that it's not created by man, it's created by God. See, that when they start making when they think that man is God, this is where they screw things up. And this is where their reasoning is so convoluted. That is definitely for sure. Okay, so let me see what is coming up here. I'm going to go over to the main page and flip over to some more stories that I'll be covering for you next hour. Get ready for that preview. And we'll talk more about Podbean, and we're going to talk about next hour a story that I find interesting, really interesting. I'm going to tell you what I really think of this one. Did you hear about? I'm a football fan, always will be, but and I like football and the NFL and everything, but lately there's just this talk going around saying that Colin Kaepernick is going to be signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm telling you folks, if this happens, I will not. I'll be boycotting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because this guy, if they sign him up, they're going to screw things up for themselves. To be honest with you, because this guy's a nut. Okay, this guy's a complete screwball, and to think that I'm sorry, I just have this problem with this guy, and we're going to talk about that next hour. Colin Kaepernick, yeah, that guy. I really hope the Steelers don't sign this clown up. Really, I just hope, because if they do, they're screwing themselves in the hole because amongst their fans, especially patriots like me, who he hates America so much. And why would we have a guy like that playing football? You know what I'm saying? I mean, really, why? Because he's just going to ruin it for the rest of us. It's just that plain and simple. So we're going to talk about that coming up next and a whole lot more, so I hope you'll stay with me. The Gary Russen program here on GJRB Online. We're having a great time this afternoon. We've got BJ in the chat room. Black Dragons Radio. Absolutely great music. Tune into them. We're going to do our Spreaker podcast and promotions in the last hour, even if it's on Podbean, because I'm going to be promoting all the great podcasters. And when we're going to be on Podbean, more than likely I'll be promoting that as well. So, and we get some podcasters over there. I'll be promoting them as well. So you can guarantee that that's what it's going to be here. Tell you what we're going to do right now. We're going to take a break. I'll be right back. This is the GJRB Online Network.